Welcome back. Media company Multichoice says as new competitors enter the market and as customers become more self-sufficient, it will be forced to cut jobs. It's understood that most of the layoffs will be at call centers and customer care. The Information Communications and Technology Union says 1,790 employees will be affected. Thabang Mothelo is the ICTU Media Officer. He joins us now in the studio. Very good evening to you and thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening, Sapiso and SABC viewers.
So have you received any formal communication from Multichoice as yet?
Unfortunately, the union has not received any formal communication from Multichoice, and we are disappointed about it.
So this number of 1,790 that we've seen from the statement that you put out, where does that come from?
We have been alerted by our members at about 1 p.m. today that the employer is going to make an announcement because we intended to have the meeting with them just after lunchtime. So we then had to put our ears on the ground and we said they must let us know immediately after the meeting. Whilst the employer had a discussion with them, notifying them that there are a number of employees that are going to be affected, we got notification through WhatsApps. We rushed quickly from the head office in Pretoria, had to go to Midrand. We had hoped to engage management, but we realized that that would be a futile exercise.
So that figure, did it come from the WhatsApp messages that you received? Because there's confusion. I've seen some publications say figures as low as 200. Some are saying over 2,000.
In actual fact, the correct number, it is 2,194. However, the employer said out of this number of affected employees, they are looking to only save 800 out of this number. So doing mathematics, it simply tells that more than 1,200 employees, definitely employer wants them to be gone in about 60 days.
So what about the addition or the 800 that you mentioned? Are they going to be required to reapply for their jobs?
The employer has not indicated anything in terms of what will be the procedure or the selection criteria. So we are in the dark in terms of the process of the employer. The employer has asked employees to respond in 30 days whether they are prepared to accept the voluntary severance packages without yet notifying and engaging with the unions, which is quite unlawful according to the law.
Now, let's talk about the severance packages. Was there any indication of how they will be structured and whether or not employees, even with or without engaging you, would be given an option to turn them down?
Effectively, we have got a documentation which has been printed for employees, given them in the envelope. Is a document that you have went through. So when it speaks about the issue of voluntary severance packages, it says they must go and click on a link in the computers. So far, none of employees have actually went to click because immediately after the meeting, the employer had said employee can go home and come back and report to work tomorrow. So we are not certain or do not have any information of what type of the package has the employer put for the employees.
So you have said that you are going to seek urgent engagement with the employer to bring them up to bring you up to speed. So what kind of measures do you intend to take to ensure that the employer engages you?
Firstly, we want to engage the employer in good faith. We have sent them a letter today, 5 p.m., so that when they receive our letter, they should respond to us. We have given them 48 hours from Monday and Tuesday. So that means on Wednesday by 3 o'clock, that's deadline. We're supposed to have received any form of response from the employer. But we have been speaking with the leadership of the union. The attitude of the leadership is that let's approach the attorneys in the meantime so that we get ready to go to the labor court.
And I'm curious about that because you say you're approaching them in good faith, but you seem to allude to a lack thereof earlier on where you say their actions are tantamount to illegal actions anyway. So that would belie lack of good faith for me.
Of course. It doesn't mean when someone does something wrong, one must be hasty. We need to still approach them diplomatically so that when we prove our matter in the labor court, we said we have written them a letter. We have sought audience from them, and then we invited them to come to the tables.
I'm just trying to get a sense of what kind of reaction you think you'll be met with.
I do not want to speculate, and I do not want to write them off right now.
Let's look at the conditions under which they're saying has brought about these measures that they're taking. They're talking about competitors. They're talking about the fact that there's been a dip in subscribers, and that those that are there are not bringing up enough revenue. What is your suggestion? Is the current action going to help alleviate the situation?
Look, let's be honest about the statement of Multichoice. It is at liberty, or it is their right to put the statement and put PR exercise behind the statement. But the truth is, in the past 6 months, Multichoice has opened centers in Polokwane, opened centers in Bloemfontein and Cape Town. So they were aware about their financial position. So it is not a miracle that suddenly today they just wake up to say there's no money, therefore people must go. So the reason why they have open centers is that they were anticipating a backlash from employees. Now they wanted to decentralize the roles or operations from Gauteng and Durban. And as a result, they want to reroute the calls from those who are coming to Gauteng should there be any backlash. So they have made a counter-intelligence strategy, and then they are backing on it very well. However, we have a problem with the fact that the procedure so far, it remains unlawful. And this is what we are going to challenge.
But I want to look at the meat of what they're saying they're trying to do. They're saying they're trying to have a more leaner, agile outfit. So they're basically trying to trim the fat. So as you mentioned that they've rearranged their operations, where they're targeting the cutting of jobs, is that going to bring about that leaner, meaner machine as they're saying they're trying to do?
Look, it's common cause that we are working in a capitalistic-driven system, so which simply means that the employer will continue wants to make profits. The current operation system in the private sector is that the more you make profit, you get a particular shares. So that simply means management or the executive will continue seek ways to reduce the cost, which they refer to it as
Is it
customers.
capitalistic or the realities of the onset of the fourth industrial revolution?
It is not realistic. Let's be quite honest. Just yesterday, we have received news from the president that says he's engaging business leaders to ensure that we create jobs. The following day, the business leaders are actually sharing jobs. So now,
but what I'm saying is mechanization, many would argue, has forced their hand to behave in the manner that they're doing. So are you saying that is not a reality?
To an extent, yes, but it is not entirely true. Look, so far, once the employees have been retrenched, it's more money for the executive. That's bottom line. It is a fact. It cannot be denied. So what it simply means is that we need to change how we think, how we look at things, regardless of the fact that we are in a fourth industrial revolution, where employees are likely to lose jobs. But when you look globally, they are saying new leaders of today, they are being marketed or they are being appointed when they are being proven to be innovative. And this is exactly what we like in South Africa.
So what rescue plan are you suggesting then?
Currently, we need to look first into the business rationale. We need to engage the business rationale. And after engaging the business rationale, it is at that point that we will consult with members, find a way, find inputs to ensure that we consolidate their inputs and see how we can save jobs. And this is the procedure. I do not want to speculate that this is what's going to happen. Tomorrow, the union is having the agent leadership meeting where we want to craft a strategy on how we're going to engage Multichoice. That will include that we may need to have researchers from universities where they can assist us with a number of things so that we put an alternative strategy to job losses.
And we'll look forward to engaging with you further. Thank you so much. Thabang Mothelo is ICTU Media Officer. Francis?